Hey guys, so today I am repotting two of my terrestrial philodendrons and I found the perfect pots for them. Let me show you. So here are three pots that I got from Ikea. I went to Ikea like 2 weeks ago with my kids to look for some bedding stuff, but I ended up finding these and I drilled a hole in them. Here's the name of the pot, and then I ended up drilling a hole because it didn't have one. Needed a drainage hole. So now I'm going to repot these plants, and I'm so excited because these plants grow across the ground, so across the top of the soil. So this type of philodendron is new to me, so I was waiting to find the best pot for them, and I think these will work out fine for a while, but eventually I'll probably have to chop and prop this plant because of the way that it grows. I can't just have this endlessly long planter. So let's go ahead and get these guys planted. I've already got my soil mix going, so it's just pro mix soil with orchid bark and perlite. So I've got my first pot and I'm just gonna fill it with soil. I'm gonna stop right there with the soil and then get this plant put in. So this gloriosum, I actually ordered this from Mercury and it was such a great buy, such a great price. It's put out one new leaf since and put out a bunch of roots where when I first got it, it didn't have a ton of roots, but now it's looking super good. It's ready for a new pot. So it's gonna sit in here like this and then hopefully crawl, sit in here like this and then crawl this way. That's what I expect it to do. So we'll just see. It's got this pin that was used to hold it down. So let's see how this goes. Hopefully everything comes out in one because the soil it's in is not awful. Good roots. There you go. Come on, buddy. It's just hanging on by like seriously one root. There's one root, but it's made a bunch of roots in this pot. So definitely want to make sure that this guy stays anchored down. So I'm going to reuse this pin to hold it in place. I think that's a smart idea. And then push this soil around it. Okay, so let's finish adding the soil. And you are able, like if you want to cover the stem or the base here, you can. Don't cover it in a ton of soil. So it can be partially covered if you want it. And it might even help, you know, better stabilize the plant if it is covered in soil somewhat. I'm trying not to make a mess, but I'm very messy when it comes to potting things. Okay, so I'm gonna put just a tiny bit of soil on top of that, not a ton. Not a ton. Let's try this again. Make sure we get some soil back here. I'm trying not to make a mess. It's just so hard not to. I might see if I have another pen type thing to add to this so it doesn't wobble, but pack it in. Okay, I think this one is done. I'm satisfied with it. Here's how it looks. I'll water it after I finish repotting the Philodendron Summer Glory. Ooh. Okay. So I have 3 of these pots, and the last one is meant for another gloriosum that I have, but I want to because I just recently repotted that one, and I want to give it time to establish where it's at. It's perfectly fine in that pot, but I just want to give it some time. Okay, so the next one, fill it up with soil. So when I'm potting these, I'm trying to get the plant as far back in this pot as possible so that it has a ways to grow instead of potting it in the center, because this plant or either plant, they kind of have a starting point just the way they are naturally. So they have a starting point and they only they'll grow in one direction. Depending on how you cut it, you might get a node that takes off in another way. But the way these 2 plants that I have are growing, they're kind of growing in one direction. So I want to make sure that I am planting them in a way that they will grow this way across the pot, as opposed to trying to climb out of the pot. So hopefully that works. If it doesn't, I'll just have to like chop and propagate that portion that's growing over, because these are really nice pots and I want to keep them in these pots for a long time, like a couple years if at all possible. I don't think these philodendrons, at least in my care, have grown super fast, but I did buy these late in the season, so like late fall, winter, and that's a time period where plants are slowing down anyways. But once spring hits, so like late February, March-ish, a lot of my houseplants are going to start like picking up the pace. So I'll like reassess then from spring to fall again of how quickly these grow. I would love if they grew faster. So we'll see. Okay, so this is the Summer Glory, and she is glorious, beautiful. So far, easy to grow. I got this plant 50% off actually at Baker's Acres here in Ohio. So definitely check them out. I don't know if they do a ton of online sales, but if you're local to Ohio, they do like Friday web drops. So you can get some really cool plants, but at the end of their season, they had a clear the shelf sale, which because they were doing renovations, so they marked like everything down 50% off. So I was able to go in there and grab some good stuff. Oh, look at these roots. Very cool. Come on. You don't have to sharpen my face. Okay, yeah, there we go. Look at that pretty color. Gorgeous. So this is a hybrid. It's Macaulay's Finale with Gloriosum. So it is 2 different philodendrons. One of them is the Gloriosum that I just repotted, and then the other is a Macaulay's Finale, which looks a lot like a Prince of Orange, if you've ever seen one of those. I have a Prince of Orange in the other room, so I can like go in there. I'll put a clip of the Prince of Orange, but yeah, it looks, the Macaulay's Finale looks a lot like the Prince of Orange. The growth structure, everything is just the color of the foliage is just a little bit different. And I had a Macaulay's Finale and I ended up giving it away because I didn't want it. It got on my nerves. All right, so this guy is in. He is pressed as well. Let me see. Let me do something different because he has a lot of soil right there. I'm gonna press him this far back and keep his soil structure right there. Come on, buddy, get in there. There you go. That way he still has a while to grow I'm just gonna press him in there. He's kind of lifting up. Let me see what I can do. Here. Alrighty, so this guy has been planted. I love this pot. It's so cool. Now, if I grow this plant with the light facing this way, all of my leaves are going to face this way. If I grow it this way, all the leaves are going to go that way. So they grow towards the light. If I turn it this way, the leaves will come that way. For this particular plant, I'm going to try to keep it potentially this way. That way, as it's growing, the leaves will face one direction, and I can set it somewhere like this, and it will just be just this beautiful display of foliage, which I think that's what I'll do with the Gloriosum too. So I've got the philodendrons watering or draining right now. My kitchen is super dirty, so I'm not gonna show you what that looks like. Don't look. But I'll show you what the Prince of Orange is looking like right now. And he is gorgeous. So let me show you. This lighting is probably super bad for sharing because I have lights on. But here he is. Super big, Prince of Orange. He's got these orange leaves that come out. These are the new leaves. Sorry, it's super dark. Let me turn off this light. See if that helps. Lighting's not great, but this is what he looks like. He's big. He's sitting on a table thing down here that I got from the thrift store, but he's super big. Like, look at his leaves. So long. And I've had him for about probably about 5 years now. He's pretty old in houseplant years, sorta. Yeah. So I love that plant so much. I will never get rid of him. And I think I'm actually gonna put him outside this summer and see how he does. But let me show you guys this other Gloriosum that I have. This one was sold as a Gloriosum zebra. Where'd she go? Let me find her. So this guy right here, super little plant. So it's kind of just starting to get established. It's given me one leaf and it has a new one on the way. And then I have another Gloriosum, which is down here. And let me just flip this around. What am I trying to do? So there's my other Gloriosum. This one is kind of struggling. It came to me struggling. So to see a new leaf come out, I have hope that it's going to be fine. As long as the stem is fine, it's nice and solid. So I think this plant will be okay. It's just taking a while to recoup. So the philodendrons should be done draining by now. So let's go head back to the dining room. Here they are. All watered, super heavy. Okay, so they're all planted. They both look amazing. This Gloriosum, I'll probably try to find something that I can use to help anchor the end of this plant into the pot better. It's a little it's a little too wobbly for me. So I'm gonna look for that, but these two will do great in bright and direct light. The lighting in this room that you see right now is perfect. There's no direct sun coming in here. These plants grow across the soil, so they are like underneath the canopy of trees. So you want to make sure that, you know, you're not putting them in direct light. This lighting is perfect. Even a little bit lower than this would be fine. They can grow under grow lights. Just make sure that they are not like super close to the grow lights and that you don't keep your grow lights on like all day long. Like me, I'm guilty of that. Like my Ikea shelf with plants, I am so bad about turning off those lights, and I always think like plants don't have like light 24 hours a day in nature. So this is unnatural for me to keep those running all day long. So I have to remind myself to turn them off. So I'm just saying that in case there's anyone else who forgets and leaves their lights on all night long. But yeah. All right, let me know if you have any questions about these plants. I got this one from Mercury, which I've recommended before if you're looking for a good price on plants. And then I got this guy from a local nursery here in Ohio. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.